Hi everybody, welcome back. So this is the first video from the new house. I have managed to, in the chaos, create myself a little filming corner. The rest of the house is an absolute nightmare. Thank you everybody that has been asking after my husband. He's doing well. The surgery was really successful. So with regards to royal news, I've been so busy I've barely had a chance to catch up, but I did spend a little bit of time last night seeing what's been going on. So my first story is to do with, on the 14th of June, we will have Trooping the Colour, the King's Birthday Parade. If you like the pomp and you like the pageantry, this is one of the biggest royal events in the calendar. Not only do we get to see the King, we get to see the Prince and Princess of Wales, their children. We will have the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, plus other working royals. If the weather's good, we get open carriages, which I love. We get to see all of the wonderful hats and clothes as the royals wave as they come down the Mall back towards the palace after the big military parade. It's everything that you would expect from the sovereign's official birthday parade. So it should come as no shock or surprise that obviously the two that are desperate to stay relevant, one of them has managed to arrange something on the King's birthday. We know that Harry has been desperately trying to clash his diary with anything important for his father of late, but this time he's handed the baton of attention seeking over to his wife, who has given an exclusive, or rather her team has given it an exclusive to People magazine, telling us that Meghan will be honoured at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County's upcoming Night of Wonder Gala, timed perfectly at the same time as Trooping the Colour. So what could Meghan be being honoured for this time? Well, she's being honoured for her work empowering women in underserved communities. What that means is she gives donations of other people's money to go towards well-established charities and organisations that have been working for years, that actually have people with their boots on the ground. She turns up for a photo opportunity which gets well publicised, and People magazine and Us Weekly and even the Daily Mail get their little exclusives. And then, of course, Meghan gets honoured, or Harry gets honoured, for the hard work that they do. It's pretty farcical to say the least, but it's tried and tested, and they know if they keep putting money in the right places, they will continue to be able to collect these awards. But it's not just Harry and Meghan paying for trophies, or at least making sure the money goes to the right people. Meghan has got another connection as to why she might be receiving this. I logged onto Twitter this morning, or sorry, X, and my friend Remoulade Sauce, who is the fashion guru, she has noted that one of the co-chairs is Rick Janelle. He is Meghan's business lawyer. He is the man that has worked with Meghan alongside Andrew Meyer as far back as when she was on Suits, and more importantly, before she met Harry. I mean, talk about a red flag. Why on earth would you be giving up everything to become a duchess, join the UK royal family, and then keep your show business lawyer and business manager? It's very telling. The same reasons why Meghan never had her clothes shipped over from Canada. Meghan was never going to stay part of the royal family. Some people believe that Meghan obviously wanted to come in and to change it. She did not. She came in for a cash and carry con job. She just needed to convince the royal family that she was going to be a hard worker, but she obviously just came in to get the platform, the fame, the fortune, take her little cash briefcase and the golden goose and disappear over to America. Hence we are now seeing her full circle doing exactly what she was doing. She's just got a bigger platform and more millions behind her. Well, I guess the millions are beginning to dwindle somewhat because they are losing the big contracts, because Meghan fumbles absolutely every single business venture that she gets involved with. But as for this very important night where Meghan will yet again be honoured for all of her hard work on the King's birthday, she obviously wasn't lying when she told Jamie Kern-Lima, "Oh, gosh, I work so hard." But I think it's clearly obvious, rather than Meghan working hard on her actual businesses, the only thing she seems to work very hard on is making sure that she has got something anything that can clash with any of the royal family's birthdays. I mean, she especially likes doing it, doesn't she, for the Waleses, for their children. The king is an added bonus, I'm sure, for Meghan. But it's standard practice now. We know that if there is anything official going on with the royal family, as I always say to you guys, synchronize your watches. 5, 4, 3, 2, boop! There she is again, or there Harry is as well. Now, speaking of Harry, well, who knew when Harry said that he wanted to find his freedom, he got on that freedom flight, what that actually meant was he was going to spend the next 5 years obsessively trying to find ways to hurt his family, and more specifically now, his father. Harry, it has been revealed, has gone to Earl Spencer, his uncle, his late mother's brother, and he inquired with him about taking the Spencer surname. Yes, Harry has looked into getting rid of the Mountbatten-Windsor surname, which he has and his children Archie and Lily have, which was created by Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip for their direct descendants to use as their surnames. Yes, their surnames are not Sussex, despite Meghan rudely telling Mindy Kaling as such. But the fact that Harry is trying now to say, I don't even want my family name anymore, I think he's angry, and I think Meghan is that earworm. She's manipulating him to say, this will be great, we'll completely remove ourselves from your family, right? It's a way to get one over on your father. But what she's actually doing is far more crafty. And she is changing the children's names. Well, she would have attempted to change the children's names. One child in particular, you would have had Prince Archie Harrison Spencer, but the more important child with her blue eyes would have been Princess Lilibet Diana Spencer. That is far more marketable. Now, it's obviously not the little girl's fault that her mother has played so many games with her and used her own name to obviously hurt our late queen, which Harry, as we know, took part in. Meghan does not get the full blame for this. They are both equally responsible. But the reason why I think Meghan is behind that, and obviously taking the Queen's nickname and the titles, don't forget the titles. The children would have automatically been able to call themselves Prince and Princess when King Charles came to the throne, because they were the direct grandchildren of the monarch. Meghan and Harry knew that, despite the lies that they told Oprah and said that they weren't going to give Archie a prince title because he might be a little bit brown. That was just all public manipulation, stirring up, race baiting, another unforgivable thing that those two did. The children, at the end of the day, could have made the decision when they turned 18, and Harry and Meghan have taken that away from Archie and Lily, and you would think that they would, being the modern parents that they are, they would have left that to be their children's right to choose, but they didn't, again, because I believe Meghan believes the children are more marketable being called a prince and a princess. And she's just done something, or rather said something, in her final podcast. I thought she'd done her final podcast, but no, she's done a bonus one where she's got Beyonce's momager, Tina Knowles, on it. And she said to Tina, I wonder if one day I'll be in business with Lily and we will be building something together. That to me just answers any of the little suspicions that I had in my brain. She sees Lily as a potential business opportunity, and we've seen her use the children non-stop this year on social media to use the children to get traction to her latest venture, to her Instagram account, and then of course to her show and to her podcast. This is why she keeps talking about the children now. So the children are already being used. Now, as for Harry changing his name from Mountbatten-Windsor, he might as well ring up his friend Jelly Roll and get Meghan Markle's name tattooed to the bottom of his foot, much like Woody had Andy's name inscribed in the bottom of his, because let's be honest, Harry is little more than Meghan's toy puppet. Now, speaking of oh my gosh, I work so hard, Meghan, it turns out I don't think she's actually been working that hard, I know the shock of it, on her as ever, formerly known as American Riviera Orchard, as she is leading people to believe, because she's already said that she's taking a pause on restocking the products. How can you pause something that you haven't even really started? Especially because Meghan had promised to restock. She said the staff are working really hard to restock the inventory. I'm really sorry that we actually oversold and owed you refunds, and we'll actually send you out a replacement product when we've restocked. You know, this was part of her apology notes that she did when they took people's money, knowing full well that they couldn't fulfill the orders being placed. But again, like everything with Meghan, it was the flash in a pan, it was the maximum publicity. This is why she starts so many different ventures and never follows through with them. She does this because she gets maximum attention, coverage, magazine interviews. She gets to talk about her fabulous and exciting new thing that she's about to launch, and then she doesn't commit to it. So she fumbles it, it all falls apart, and then she's on to the next thing. That's why everything is so chaotic with her. So after all of the incredible hype, shall we say, the photo shoots, the videos, the Time 100 appearance, the rambling I'm a Female Founder podcast, the celebrity endorsements, and then of course the Jamie Kern-Lima podcast as well, it turns out that jam is not exactly her jam, and perhaps her jam is a bit more of a scam. When you think that a lot of the products that went out to the celebrities, the already rich people, the people that got the freebies that were then allowed to merch it on their socials, they didn't have to pay for that, and they got the posh packaging. She displayed it lovely, these wooden carved boxes, but the actual people, the fans, the public, the critics that wanted to try it all, they were the ones that had to pay top dollar, let's be honest, massively overpriced jam, honey and fruit teas. And they got a few battered boxes with those really awful polystyrene packing watsits in them. So on this bonus podcast that she did where she's managed to bag Tina Knowles, she wanted to say that she's pausing it because she just wants to wait until we are completely stable and have everything we need. Surely that's standard practice. If you're going to launch a product and start selling it, you make sure that you can restock it and continue selling it. I mean, that could just be me. I don't know anything. Of course, I'm not an entrepreneur like Meghan. But she divulges further in Company magazine, and she says that the easiest things to do would be to restock the most popular products. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm just being particularly harsh here, but I think you could explain that level of business acumen to a 5-year-old, you know, when they've got one of those little toy shops. So when you're going to sell something, what do you need? Something to sell. So if I come along and I buy that, what do you do next? Yay! The whole thing has just been completely ridiculous from start to finish. She's gone for maximum publicity, and yet she's fumbling it yet again, just like everything else. Meghan has had everything handed to her on a silver platter just because of her marriage to Harry. She's had millions pumped into her ventures. She's had top executives from companies promoting her. She has had teams of staff, all of these people running around doing absolutely everything for her. Spotify literally built her a recording studio in her home. They gave her their own producers as part of the Gimlet Studios, and they also interviewed some of the guests for her. She completely fumbled that as well. Meghan has no business acumen. She doesn't commit to anything. As I said, she's got the attention span of a 5-year-old. So Meghan has said that she wants to take a step back, right? That she wants to gather the data from the launch and figure out what as ever could be. What do you mean what it could be? You know what it could be. You've told us for the past year what it's going to be. You're going to be selling jams, honeys, fruit teas and dead flower sprinkles. You have got people to market it. You've got, you know, influencers and celebrities to post your products. You have promoted the fact that you are going to be a jam entrepreneur, and now you're like, well, we're actually going to sit back because I'm not quite sure what the company's going to be. And then she goes on with her typical word salad, and she says, I want to really focus on the hospitality angle. But as we take the learnings, we can understand what the customer's needs are seasonally. Well, how about strawberry jam in spring, peach jam in summer, pomegranate jam in autumn, and orange jam in winter. It's not rocket science. You know, just change the flavours of the fruits that you're selling, the fruity products, the teas as well, as to something seasonal. But of course, what it does is it gets her attention, doesn't it? It's like 1 minute she's saying she's putting a pause on it, and then this morning, I think it was, on Instagram, she's like, oh, look what I'm making. This will be restocked soon. Well, you've just told Tina Knowles on your podcast on Tuesday that it was released that you're taking a step back and reassessing what as ever could be. You've just told Fast Company, despite all of the word salad in there, that we're not quite sure what it's going to be. We're going to come back maybe at another time, explore different angles, you know, sky's the limit. Then you're like, oh, I'm back to making jam again. The woman is literally walking chaos. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, what happened to Meghan's partnership with Netflix, because we had all the announcements that Netflix would be selling Meghan's products in their flagship stores, you know, alongside Stranger Things and Bridgerton stuff. And, well, nothing has actually happened in that department just yet. But this is where I think Meghan is beginning to lay the groundwork for her typical thing that she does when her ventures crash and burn. She is getting ready to blame Netflix for any of the fallout, because she's talking to the interview of the Fast Company magazine, and she's talking about when she first started getting together the business idea, she was going to build the business. She was approached by Bella Bajaria, Netflix's chief content creator, because she obviously doesn't have enough things to do. So she was the one that approached Meghan, not the other way around. So you can see this already. In the interview, she says, at the time, I had been working towards building my own in-house team, but I had a complete U-turn because I was completely bought into the vision that she was sharing. So straight away, you've got the inclination that it's going to be, well, this was obviously, you know, Bella's idea, not mine, not mine. And she doubles down and says, Netflix's very own consumer packaged goods team works very closely with my team to manufacture the products. So obviously, if anything goes wrong with manufacturing, you know, there's been complaints about the standard of the labels, the boxes, the fact that lots of people didn't receive the products because Meghan took the money knowing that she didn't have the stock. But of course, this will now be blamed on Netflix's manufacturing team, not of course Meghan's. The one thing that she did reveal with her saying that is very similar to Spotify. Meghan is working with Netflix's team, which are obviously well established and very successful in selling the merchandise for all of their other shows online and in their stores. And she has her own team of people, yet she's only managed to produce, despite all of the fanfare, 8 products, which she still hasn't restocked. So there is something that's just not quite adding up here. And it's the fact that she's saying, Netflix have taken care of this. It was Netflix's idea. Netflix are involved with the packaging and stuff. And you think, well, if Netflix really were that involved, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be as chaotic as it is. But my favorite part of this interview is when she says, if I had to write a resume, I don't know what I'd call myself. And honestly, Meghan, I don't think you need to worry there. I think there's people all around the world that would be more than willing to give a lot of suggestions of what you could call yourself. But my favourite thing that Meghan has been called, and I think it is the perfect description of her, was what Bill Simmons, the Spotify executive, said. I think that this sums up Meghan absolutely perfectly, and it also sums up Harry. They are indeed lazy effing grifters. So guys, that's it for me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back with you very soon, where I will be catching up on more of the royal news. Take care for now. Bye.